The habanero is hitting him hard.
Just a big old sigh.
Need another shot to cool you down?
Dude, I have like 4 shots in this.
He's already boozing.
Damn, this guy is going to be crunk by the end of the night.
By the time we get to...
Greetings, programs. Welcome to The Grid, where we fight for the user and talk about Tron.
That's right.
What a user! Whoever that is.
Down with the users. Down with the users.
The users are just a myth. Anyone who believes in the users, I mean...
Well, think about that for a second. There's the user, right? Which means it's more of an interactive experience, like you're on a computer doing something. You're the user or user agent or something like that. But then they also have video games. You're not the user if you're a video game player. You're not like, so it's kind of a
But
weird...
you are. You're
it's
using
a
the video game to control the
Yeah, but
person.
that's not the terminology
Semantics.
normally. So yeah.
So wait.
it's-
So in the light cycle is a dude sitting there in the blue good light cycle that the user controls.
Yeah, the
and
user
his
is
fate
somebody
is out of his
using the
hands.
program.
He's like, I hope this user's good or I'm going to die. Is that what's happening?
How does that work?
I guess so. I don't know, because his game kind of starts out like that, doesn't it? So-
Wow, this has been a hell of an intro.
Yeah,
So,
right
Jeffrey,
away. So, Jeffrey,
back to you.
lead us into Tron.
We're gonna talk about some Tron. So the original Tron came out in, what was it, 82, and then like they waited forever and did Tron Legacy in 2010, and of course they got the Tron Ares coming out later this year. But the weird thing is, like, Tron is like so much more than that. There's been a ton of video games, most of which aren't very good. And there's been like a cartoon. I believe there's like some other like comic type series or something too, if I'm not mistaken. So like there's this whole world building of Tron. It's kind of weird that there's only been at this point 3 movies across 40 years. So it's been a hot minute, but we're going to talk about essentially what we think, whether we were thinking the idea of Tron is cool. We're not necessarily speaking to just the movies, even though that's really all we're going to talk about is the movies, since that's the bulk of the media for Tron. But let's get into the first Tron, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, because the CGI graphics, visuals are way different.
All right, let's start talking about the visuals.
Have you guys seen this before, or it was
No.
the first
Oh, yeah,
time
yeah,
watching the
good
first
point.
Tron?
Good point. For me, we all watched the movies as research for the episodes, and for me, it was first time for both.
Really?
I had never seen either
There's
of
so
them.
many movies that we bring up. He's like, I've never seen it.
I'm the guy who's never seen anything, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a pop culture void over here.
Unless it's Disney. It's Disney.
This is Disney.
What is Disney?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. Where have you been?
I don't know. It's not your typical Disney.
Sorry,
One of the coolest Disney
Unless it's
properties.
Disney between 1930 and 1960.
Yes.
And my backstory on Tron is I saw it as a kid. I tried to watch it, or I did watch it before Tron Legacy came out in 2010. And then I saw Tron Legacy in theaters, and I'd probably seen it once in between then and now, not too long after it came out at home. So that's my, I guess, experience with the Tron movies. And I've only played a couple of the games, and they're not very good.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're really
What about you, Annie?
I saw Tron Legacy first. I saw it in my home city, Hyderabad. It has one of the biggest, at one point had the biggest screens in the world, the IMAX screen. It was like 96 feet, kind of insane, huge thing. That was my first experience with Legacy. And I did not watch the first Tron until, I finished it just before this episode. But
Was that the
until
first
this,
watch?
yeah, that was the first time I watched it.
Nice.
Uh,
And Jeffrey, what about you, man?
I honestly do not remember the first time I saw it, but I know it was well before Tron Legacy was announced. because I remember when the first Tron Legacy teaser came on when I was sitting in a theater, I was like, "What the yes!" I was like so excited because it just looked crazy amazing, and I just loved the idea of Tron, even though the visuals of the original are not great.
I was at some convention when they showed on the big screen at the convention the Tron Legacy teaser, where I don't know if it was Jeff Bridges' character or somebody else's jumped onto the light cycle. Like nobody, like they kind of like it was that was the teaser. There wasn't much there, and the whole convention center just went oh like that. Like it was amazing. Like it was insane to be a part of.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, if it's the one that I think you're talking about, like there was some teaser, I guess, that had to be made to because the I don't remember his name, but the guy that actually directed the movie, this was his very
Joseph
first.
Kosinski?
Sorry, the directed Legacy. This was his very
Joseph
first
Kosinski.
time ever directing like a major motion picture. So he had to kind of like prove that he could do it. So they made that
He's a
little
big dude now.
teaser.
Yeah.
He's done
Did
a
F1,
F1,
Top Gun Maverick.
He's
Taco
done some
Bell
stuff.
Web of Fries.
Yeah,
He doesn't know that.
I don't know what that is. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But he's like Oblivion.
Oblivion? That's actually decently good.
So yeah, that was his first major motion
He did
picture.
the Mad World commercial for Gears of War.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
put that game on
Iconic.
the map. Like that's one of the most well-known commercials for games in history. That and like the Dead Island commercial.
Well, that's apparently is his first thing.
Yeah,
that was actually his
directing,
first
but
thing.
his first actual major motion picture was Tron Legacy.
That's pretty cool.
So he had to like prove that he could do something with it, and I think that was the teaser from that. One thing I'm glad they didn't do is the weird like projection like face they did. It almost looked like you were watching some weird TV, the way they put the face on the helmets. That just looked strange. But other than that, I was like, yeah, it looked really cool, and they just expanded upon that when they did Legacy. But those are the Legacy visuals.
Was that a thing? The face projection thing?
Yeah, like you apparently haven't seen the teaser. That was before the movie was actually filmed. They did this thing.
Oh, they did teaser before they had any film done.
Well, it was before it had even been greenlit. Like he had to prove to Disney he could do this.
Wow. Okay, and they had,
and it was like 2
face.
years before they actually started filming it, or something like that. It was like a while before.
The teaser like led into like the green light of the movie. It was like it was huge. Like I said, I was literally like I remember seeing clips of people at the events, kind of like what I was at, because that was like it was like this grassroots. It was kind of like the Deadpool thing almost. Where they did it and then they gave like the teaser to a bunch of like places that could just show it to huge groups of people, and they saw that excitement because like nothing had been done with Tron since '82, and Tron wasn't like the biggest hit in the world either.
No, it has a huge cult following before Legacy came out too. But yeah, it was not some big widely known thing per se.
Yep.
But no, we slipped into Legacy for a minute. I think didn't you have some stuff you want to talk about the visuals for the first Tron?
Before that, I thought
let's go back to Legacy for a second.
No. I thought that the video games came before the movie. I thought they came then I realized
I had always thought that too. I thought they made the movie because of the video game, but
reading up, it's
true.
like, oh, he made that, and then he went to Bali Studios, whoever were the cabinet, arcade makers, and then they made arcades for it, and
with
that
a little
came
like
out
fucking
around-
like
I think it was like
flight
6
stick
months
thing.
before the movie came out. The arcades went out.
I played that at Galloping Ghost actually just a couple months ago. The original Tron cabinet. It has like 5 or 6 games, and it used to actually be in my local Walmart, and I put many quarters into it, and those games are all bullshit.
Is that one of those where
they're bullshit?
Is that one of those cabinets where they basically use like Pepper's Ghost to like make it look pseudo 3D?
No, that would be really cool, but it just had
they had a light cycle game. I know there was essentially like playing Snake, but there was like 2, and you were just like looking straight down. And there was like 2 different colored lines going around until one would hit the other, and they'd lose.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought the Tron cabinet was one of those that did that.
No, that would have been.
Can't
really
remember
cool.
what game it was that did something.
Maybe
like
there was
that.
a later one that did that, but the original one did not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there was like a couple of different games I think on there. Yeah.
The visuals, as we were saying,
Of the
was
first
also-
movie.
first movie, original Tron, and why you never see that again in any other movie is because it was crazy expensive to do what they did. They shot the movie in black and white with like high contrast filling.
Okay.
Then they would take each film square, blow it up into
each cell.
Kodalith or whatever was the Kodak, blow it up, make hide all the parts that cannot be glowing, used gels for color, and then literally backlit and took pictures of those frames.
I was wondering.
That's why they were glowing.
But they
was
also
was
had to do
real
it
light
one at
blowing
a
through
time
them.
too. Like
Yeah.
so, the person that had, if there's a blue and a red in the same screen, they had to do red first, and then blue next, and then like
Oh
put it
my
all
God.
together. And like when they laid all this stuff together, it was like really thick, and they're trying to like feed this stuff into a machine and make it. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was that way.
But it was cutting edge as hell to like what they were doing with the graphics and whatnot.
If you watch it closely, you will see like the glowy bits kind of go away, come back. Like they're not perfect because they're like they hand drew them, and then they have to cut gels and other things which are like thick things, so they didn't perfectly always line up.
And there's the compositing too that you can see where they're kind of like moving around a little bit. It's definitely not perfect, and in high definition, it really sticks out.
Only thing it reminded me was Marlon Brando as Superman's dad, who's also glowing in the original Superman movies. I think that was also kind of the technique there.
And also,
but they had used a different technique.
But, you know.
Yeah, I think Brando was wearing a reflective thing, and they just like flashlighted him and shot it that way. But this was insane, and it had, I think, one of the first movies to heavily use CGI, because like Joseph Kosinski, who made Legacy, the original folks also came from CGI background, and had were building this Tron as a character was something which came from electronic. So they just made Tron. And so that was their character they were building, and they wanted to make a movie. So Tron was their first big idea that they already had. And the CGI is, I think, overall is just 15 minutes of the movie, actually.
20, I think.
Or something around
yeah,
there. Maybe. Yeah, it wasn't much.
You mean full CGI or just scenes with CGI in them?
Like full CGI.
Oh, okay.
How much of
it? Was there was lots of CGI all over the film, but
if you put out
only
all
few
the together,
that were dedicated CGI.
Yeah.
Well, not just dedicated. Like you put all the every second of it that had like computer generated graphics in there, it's a total of like 20 minutes. Because you got to think most of the scenes is them like just standing around talking, and that's when they were like putting all the stuff on the film. Like there's no actual CGI in them.
Yeah, I will say, like, I could tell it was very ambitious what they were doing. It doesn't hold up as much today. Like, sure, I granted, but like if you think about it, with the time that it came out, it's very impressive. And what I did, like, even today, I was impressed by how well they blended CGI and hand-drawn stuff. I think they did a really good job with that, for sure.
Yeah. MCP is hand-drawn, like fully.
Big
bad guy.
A lot of it reminded me of like rotoscoping, like what you saw with the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit and stuff like that. Like those same kind of techniques, because you get the same sort of like wobbling, and then some of it was definitely just hand animated. Like they were just hand animating some
I think
stuff.
the light cycle scenes really had to do with that, because they had like CG elements, but then they didn't have a way of putting the person with the CG element, so they had to like have animators do stuff to be able to get them together.
They had to do compositing and stuff like that. They had to do a lot of that, which is really, really difficult pre-computer era. Like really difficult. So.
Oh my God! Speaking of that, because they used computers, they got a snub at the Oscars because they said using computers for your effects is cheating.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's some bullshit. You know, and it's that's so terrible, because like I rewatched it today, watched it in high definition 4K, and I was just sitting here just amazed, like what they pulled off, how well it holds up, because normally, like, even if something doesn't hold up, like, you know, the special effects don't quite hold up, none of it looked super cheesy, just because aesthetically the theme and stuff like that,
all comes together.
It all matched, and it stayed consistent throughout the whole thing. There was nothing that really stood out, except for maybe when Sark got super big, like that looked kind of dopey. But other than that, like, I thought everything looked great, and I actually wish that Legacy would have leaned more into that aesthetic to keep it more popping with color.
I think it's funny you brought up Sark getting really big. I think it's a funny movie trope where it's like anytime someone gets big, they need to also start moving really, really slow.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you, Tron.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but
No, that is funny.
That's in my head.
This is a movie that when you watch it, you can't look at it through the lens of today because of the graphics and the way the visuals look.
Or at least if you do, you have to like think of it as a theme,
as an art piece, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the aesthetic was amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if you take out the element of what we could do today, because you got to
Yeah.
keep in mind this came out over 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that element out and just think about the time it came and then enjoy it from there, like, to me, like, the movie still actually kind of holds up. It's a decent movie.
Well,
I mean,
you know-
it's quick. The story is pretty simple, but
yeah. Well, so
still
hold on real
enjoyable.
quick. You know what I still was impressed with, even today, though, in terms of the graphics? I don't know how many of y'all did this, but I watched this on my OLED,
Yeah.
and holy hell, it looks great on
Amazing.
an OLED. Because,
Yeah.
like, there is literally pitch black and neon lines and stuff like that, and they pop so freaking well.
I mean, is it the same year as Blade Runner? I think, right? 82?
But then Blade Runner,
Oh,
Blade Runner was in the
somewhere
late
around
or
there.
little, sorry, it was a little earlier, right?
That Blade Runner
The
was
bar was kind of high.
Yeah,
and the
it's a quick
neon
way to look it up.
aesthetic
Yeah.
did translate really well to this.
Yeah. And like the colors popping against like a super dark background like
Blade
that
Runner
on
79.
OLED looks great.
82, yeah, same
Oh,
year.
Same year.
Same month.
Yeah, they
Really?
came out
Yeah,
against
June-
each other.
June
okay.
1982.
Wow. Okay.
And Blade
Yeah.
Runner bombed at the box office. So
This did
That's another
okay.
movie with a cult following too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This did okay.
But I never cared for Blade Runner.
I did.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that one episode.
So speaking of, you guys mentioned story and stuff like that. Let's talk. This is actually where I did a complete 180 because you guys probably saw my comment about basically trying to stay awake during the original. Tron.
Yeah.
And
Like, have you watched it yet?
I had not seen it, so I watched it as a kid and was extraordinarily bored with it. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't get any of the terms, anything like that.
I can absolutely see
And
that
then-
as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then I saw the teaser, which probably would have been like 2008, 2007. And I tried to watch it again, and I did watch it. I was just bored as hell during the whole time because I don't know if I was in the wrong mood, or I'm way more analytical now. And also, like, even some of the terms and stuff like that, I didn't know then that I know now. And I watched it today, and I was just like, this is engrossing. And like, it actually has a kind of a simplistic story that you can follow along with.
Well, okay.
And it's not all about like world building and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is going to end up being a criticism of mine when we start talking about legacy. I thought with Tron, the story was very easy to follow, and it kind of nailed a lot of things that you want to see in a movie. Now the pacing's a little off, and I also
little slow.
didn't like some of the music.
It's only 90 minutes long, but it's
choices.
still a little slow.
Oh, the music in the first
You
one's
say that
terrible.
the
It's just random
exposition
piano
actually
notes.
is so little. When they started off the movie, and I said I saw Legacy first. Even when I was rewatching for this episode, I saw Legacy first because I wanted a soundtrack first. But I was watching this, and I'm like, even though I know everything about the whole setup and what it's all about, they just throw you in. And there is no exposition. And I'm like, I'm 30 minutes in. They still haven't done the exposition scene.
But see,
They don't
sometimes you need that.
Very
though.
little. Yeah, that's good.
Just
That's what I'm saying.
and
It's good.
Like, what is it? It's show don't tell. You don't
Yeah.
need to tell the viewer everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Just let them enjoy and fill in the gaps on their own. As
The
they're watching.
endless exposition is also becoming a big like hot topic in video games nowadays too. Because
Oh, yeah.
there's so many video games coming out nowadays where like the first thing you do in the video game is catch you up on the entire story and whatnot, and they don't give space for people to discover.
Yeah, either it's a dialogue or you're following someone where you can't run and you have to walk
Yeah.
slowly.
God, I
next to
hate
them.
those so much when I have to do
And
that.
then they keep talking, and you're just running around. It's like, can I break this? Can I, like, you don't care what they're saying.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
about story, so
No, I just thought the story was actually pretty solid. It was very focused.
It was low stakes.
There was not as much world building effort going into this. It was just literally like, hey, this dude's just trying to basically find proof about his stolen video games.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the core of the story.
Yeah.
And maybe take down this corporation and this dude at the
Well,
same
there was
time.
like there was a
And
hint.
there was all the other stuff, all the other world that was going on, but it
Yes.
all still tied back to that. But like,
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about that world, but it didn't try to force me to know more.
But
about
dude,
that
in
world.
software engineering world, IP theft is like, it makes sense if
Big
you look
deal.
back and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this dude is like, I should be at.
But if you showed up with a piece of paper with some typescript on it, you think that would be evidence that it was stolen?
If you have it on dot matrix, it's more proof. Okay,
Okay, fair enough.
Dot matrix printer means it's official.
Yeah.
But who here, if Flynn's was a real place, would be like
Dude.
there all the time?
Dude, that place was so cool. It was so like just everything about that was just badass. The whole setup, even it being kind of crowded, even a little bit small and whatnot.
It's
but
got
like,
that apartment.
like,
in there,
yeah,
too. Oh.
like this,
Well,
like,
even
this
the
just
places
feels
that
like a
do
place where
arcades
no
now,
people.
I think there's a problem with them. Like there's been some places around here that are like have old school arcade games, but they're trying to like, oh, we have this old school arcade game, but everything else is like modern. And I'm like, dude, just take it back to that time period and essentially just create like an 80s bar where everything is about the 80s and it's
Rub
all
some
old
pizza
arcade.
grease on
Like that
everybody.
bar that's at
Plays-
Screenland that you don't
plays-
like all that much.
Well, that's they say it's a 90s bar, but that's because they have a couple of VHS tapes and then like some posters.
And N64 and Super Nintendo.
But the decor doesn't feel 90s. The music, they're playing stuff from today. I'm like straight
Yeah,
on,
that
like
was
go
annoying,
all
yeah.
out, like 90s or 80s, but neon light stuff everywhere. No music can play unless it came from the 80s. You know, have your staff dressed in like 80s gear and everything like that, and a whole bunch of arcade cabinets and everything, and not the whole like, oh, you come in here and you spend $100 for 50 points and you go spend No, put freaking either you put quarters in the machine or it's like some of the bars around here where it's like $5 and you just play as much as you want.
Speaking of neon and 80s, back to Tron. A 5-minute rant on a local bar. Let's go.
But it was about Flynn's, so
Yeah.
it ties in.
Flynn's was cool, and they also didn't make it too over the top either. It really looked like a local arcade bar with a
It
apartment
looked like a real
attached to
place.
it. Yeah,
I honestly would not be surprised
It
if
was.
that was a real place.
Well, I don't know about it being an arcade.
Yeah, but
the actual building was real.
Yeah.
And when they went to go and actually film Legacy, the place that actually was in that building now was a restaurant. So they had remodeled inside, so it didn't look the same. So they had to like rebuild the interior for the actual movie,
which they did.
But the actual
awesome at that.
yes, they did. And part of the exterior too. But
Sadly,
yeah.
in Legacy, it was all just like run down and,
He had
there was
died,
basically.
basically.
Like I hate it. Oh, they just made me sad is all.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they did a
yeah.
great job.
I
I'm
think
like,
they did, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's not the same. Like it was so cool and so full of life and everybody was having fun and everybody's like hanging around Flynn who's going to get a high score and he's so good at video games and like, yeah.
But
Tell you
that's-
what, we're
yeah.
going to go in on a cooperative and we're going to build our own
Restore.
arcade.
Oh,
Arcade.
jeez. We got the knowledge. We got the passion. We could do it.
I actually had an idea for something. I'll tell you off camera.
The only thing for me at times that took me out was Jeff Bridges was a little dopey and a little too cool for school.
They were
points.
trying to make him into the Han Solo of this movie.
I have a theory
Right.
on this, so you keep going.
Are you
No,
still talking
the-
about the
the-
first Tron or Legacy?
First Tron.
First Tron.
First Tron. Yeah,
Second
no,
Tron,
go on.
he's a hippie dude, and like he's still the same energy.
Well, to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
think of when he actually grew up, and then he's been gone from the real world since the 80s.
Yeah.
So you got to put that in there too.
But no, second Tron, he turned into the dude, but in the grid.
The
Yeah,
dude
that's-
abides.
They played up his hippiness way too much in the second movie.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
Yeah,
And that's absolutely true. My theory, or actually, I
that
don't even
was
think
so
it's a
weird when he
theory.
said that dialogue.
Is he's not the main character of Tron. He's not. Tron is the main character.
But
Bruce
but
Boxleiter
Tron is
as
not.
Tron has more screen time than Flynn, and also does
really?
a
Is
lot
that
of stuff.
true?
I don't know if that's true, but it seemed true because there was a lot of screen time without Flynn. And Tron is
literally
doing
called
a
Tron.
lot of stuff in it, and he's the one that defeats Sark. And like, sure, Flynn sets up something by diving into whatever stream that was, but all he did was dive into it.
Dude, Flynn-
Tron actually did everything.
Flynn
So
stole stole his girl, and then stole the spotlight, jumped into the thing.
They really wanted that love triangle to work, both in the
Yeah.
real life of Tron and then in the game too, or the grid.
And
They
it
kept
felt
calling it
like
the
an
game.
afterthought. It wasn't really
But
there.
anyway, I think they actually weren't trying to make him like they allowed him to be a little dopey. Like he was almost like the comic relief side character. Like
Right.
it's kind of like the Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. It's the
Yeah.
other guy's movie basically. He's the
Well,
action
it's like the thing
hero,
that we were talking
where
about
Jack
earlier.
Burton is
when
the
he just
side
like leans out,
character.
he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my take on Tron. I don't think Flynn is actually the main character.
I
not.
don't know if I would agree with that one. I think the movie is called Tron, but to me, like when I was watching it, it seemed like Tron was very much a background character until maybe like the last fourth of the movie. Then he was really prominent. And
Well,
very
Alan
much part of it.
Baxter was in almost every scene before we actually got to the grid, where then he immediately
Yeah, the only part that you didn't see
immediately
him.
I don't
Tron.
associate that with Tron.
But it's the
it
same
is.
character. But it's
But-
the
I
same
know.
thing.
The
The only
but I
part you
still-
don't see him is when when Flynn initially gets to the grid and goes to his first game.
Yeah, and
Once
he
he
sees
gets
him
back from the
fighting,
game,
yeah.
he meets
Also,
Tron.
who gets the final kiss with the girl and it ends up with her in the real life? Too?
Well, okay, we want to talk about that.
Not Flynn.
We want to talk about that.
I mean, if you want to.
The thing I hate the most about the first movie, where
Oh.
she freaking kisses Flynn,
We already
and then
did-
literally 2 minutes later,
All right, so
kissing Tron.
let's really get to the heart of this story about were you hurt somewhere at some point?
might.
Somebody kissed you and then kissed somebody
Damn
else.
infidelity.
This app, I feel like it's the thing of an era because it
Yeah.
seems like people kiss way too quickly. The
In
amount
movies
of
back
like
then, for sure.
build up before physical intimacy
Well, how many
happens
minutes
or
do you need to
movies-
just know somebody before you kiss them?
couple of dates. They were just like, oh, this dude.
He just blew over what I said.
All he
I
said
said
was,
how many minutes? Like it was like real short.
I know.
You can have a couple of dates in a few minutes.
Well, yeah.
the two pump
She was
chumps.
just blown
date.
away like, oh, it's user. And her and Tron were supposed to be in this revolution fight that we're trying to, get out of. And yeah, Jeff Bridges just showed up as the cool dude and was like, hey man, I'm gonna be okay.
He's got the
Yeah.
Riz.
He's got the res.
He just doesn't care, and that's part of his
No,
character.
he's
and
got
I
the
was-
res.
Oh
Raz.
God,
He did re-res her.
he did res her.
Yeah.
He avoided being D-res,
Yeah.
which is actually a term. I love that term, by the way.
D-res.
D-res. I think that's one of the best terms in movie history for like basically somebody dying. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I just absolutely love it.
I wish though they like explained it. As in, like, what happens after you derez? Or maybe it's just nothing happens after
See,
you derez.
they-
You're gone. Your code is deleted.
You're deleted.
What
yeah.
makes
Your
it-
code is deprecated and decommissioned.
What makes it timeless is that they don't explain.
Everything.
And so
Yeah,
every
sounds like
era
it's
you
decommissioned.
can fill in your blanks yourself on what you know.
That is one positive I have of the original Tron, where they don't get so obsessed with world building and dropping in little stuff that they keep the story and narrative more focused. And I love that. I like that
Right.
they did that, and that's actually when we move on to Legacy, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But yeah, so,
One last thing, which I think we should move on to Legacy, is I found sometimes inconsistency of like the red was good and the blue was bad, and then blue.
Yes!
So they apparently in the movie in the middle changed ideas of like which color.
Yeah,
is
originally it was
good.
the other way around. Red was
Yeah.
good and blue was bad.
I
Yeah.
was so confused because, like, I go into the movie thinking something about the colors. I'm like, okay, they're making a statement with it, and then later, like, they break that rule. I'm like, no, why'd you do that?
Well, I mean, but if you don't think about it from that perspective, the only time I think of that you see blue as like the bad guys are the guys in the tanks, if I recall.
Yes.
But if you think about it from this perspective of
I was like,
when
where's she-
people
they're
were,
shoved into the game though. They made them play against each other.
well, not all of them. There's some blue guys in the tanks that are like hunting down
And-
everything like that. So, but I'm
That's-
like, if you look at it
that's
from the
true.
perspective of like, if I don't want to be in the games, if I just do what they say and follow their orders, I don't have to potentially die. Maybe they were still
They-
quote unquote good because like they
Right.
talk
They-
about the blues like believing in the users. Maybe they still
They
believe in the users,
did
but they're just like, I'm doing this so you don't kill me.
They did say that, to basically, you go into the games, and if you win, you can then become part of the big MCP trooper
MCP,
thing.
yeah.
So yeah, so
maybe
like,
they were previous
and so
game
that
winners,
makes
too.
so to me, I never even thought about that because in my brain I heard that, and I'm like, they're just doing what they're told to do because they want to, not die. And then they want to also that, or they want
They
to
don't wanna
become
be
part of like,
de-res.
they don't want to be they don't want to be de-res. And maybe they want to join the whole like digital Nazi Hitler thing that's going on.
I was still confused by the colors. I think in the second movie they also recognized that too because they made
And
the
they made
colors
it-
a lot more random in the second movie.
Well,
Well, the soldiers were all still red, like the quote unquote
Yeah.
bad guys
Well,
were
yeah,
all still
but
red.
yeah, everything
But no,
else was.
I have a question
Go
for
ahead.
all of you because you're much more computer guys than I am. All the CGI stuff that was done in that movie, from what I was reading here, the computer this was done on had 2 megabytes of memory
PDP-10,
and
the
330 megabytes of storage.
there's a nerdy side of me. They used a computer called PDP-10, which was the fastest computer at that time present, and it was one of the 4 companies hired for computer animation had that. And it wasn't even cell shading. It's just like, here's a cube and each side has one color. That's it. There's no
like
gradient, nothing.
mathematical
That's it. That's the level, and that's the 2 MB is my watch is more powerful than what they made everything on.
No, I know that. I
Yeah.
know what a megabyte is, but I'm like, I know I'm not as much of a computer person as you guys. That's why I was like,
A lot of this stuff back in
it's
the day, though,
impressive.
was written in assembly, which is very
I'm like,
memory
I have this little
efficient.
thing at home that has 5 terabytes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive. The visuals still even today impress me. Like even if somebody's like, "Oh, it looks terrible," I'll be like, I think it looks great because aesthetically they held it together.
You know what was janky though? The outfits, especially the helmets, which I think they've tried to fix in the second one by making most people not have helmets.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool in the Tron Ares trailer we just watched.
Yeah,
though.
well, maybe, yeah.
Well, the only time they had helmets is when they're either in the games used with their disc or like riding one of the light cycles. But other than that, most people didn't have a helmet at the time.
I don't
Other than
the-
like
like the
Clue,
main
because they had the little
characters.
reveal,
The-
and then the dude that had the weird skinny thing here
Oh,
for
you're
some
talking about
reason.
the second movie.
Yeah.
You're talking about the
Yeah,
second movie.
Legacy.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you were saying how they got rid of him in the second
yeah,
movie.
yeah. They pretty much got rid of him in the second movie, whereas in the first one, they were all wearing these like padded
Like
football
cloth,
helmets.
football helmet. Yeah.
Did you guys ever wonder about like the citizens, like all the different, like, did you see, like, it kind of reminded me of Star Wars a little bit because
Yes.
they had a lot of little outfits and stuff like that that looked a little goofy, but it kind of gave a little bit of character. Like the first movie is actually a lot lighter in tone than I remember. And it also had like, there was a lot of stuff that's like going, oh, so there's people that like programs that actually live here and do their thing and they're unique and they have even their own colors and stuff like that. They don't go too much into it because the movie's not focused on that, but they did show that. And I was like going, that's actually pretty cool.
I like when they're like, "What do you do?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm a
Actuary program.
fintech, and I work with credit cards or something stupid like that." I don't remember what he actually was, but it was something to do with accounting.
My
He
user's
like
a
tried
big
to
deal.
He tried to advertise himself too. He's like, I can help you.
That's why
The RAM guy.
Yeah.
it was RAM. Yeah.
actuary program.
Yeah,
That's who it was.
yeah.
I think that was what the bad guy was doing. Was he would go on the interwebs, find code from other companies.
Yeah,
And that's why
well,
it was
that's what he
like,
said
I
he
want
was
to
doing.
get
Like,
into
he was
the
about to-
Pentagon. Is what
He's
he
about to
kept
break
saying.
into the Pentagon. So
Yeah,
that's what
and he
he's
was
been
using
doing.
Sark to defeat him. Or
Well,
something
and that
like
was that little hint of like higher stakes in the first movie, but that was it. Like, it's like, okay, the MCP is getting more and more powerful. If they don't stop it, something really bad might happen. But then they don't like address it at all. They're just like, we're going to destroy the MCP because we know like the programs don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but also because Jeff Bridges has now been computerized, and if he dies, he dies.
Yeah,
in there.
there's that too. Yeah.
Do you guys remember when Ram died?
Yeah.
Did you guys notice
yes.
how awkward that was?
Yeah.
When he's like basically
Oh, in
Jeff
the- in
Bridges'
the ship,
character.
yeah.
I thought he was
Flynn,
they were
it's
going to
got-
kiss.
I thought they were going to kiss too.
Yeah, the way they held each
whole
other.
time, I'm just like, are you
There
guys
was-
going to kiss?
There was a very big like emotional bond between them that came out of nowhere. it
Yeah,
seemed like.
It should have been
There-
Yori there.
There was a few.
I think that would have made sense if he
Yeah.
had known Yori like that, because they were like cellmates, and so they had this thing growing up, like going through the adventure together. I think they had more of a bond than Yori and
and Flynn.
did.
Yeah.
She just was like, she's a groupie for users. She just was like, he's a user? Damn it. Yes.
She's really hot though. So there's
Well,
that.
it's the same as Cora. That's
Yeah.
it. It's-
Hey, our wives.
Let's
might
go to
watch
Legacy.
this podcast.
Oh, Marcia
Spoken
would
a lot,
absolutely
yeah.
agree. She would not care. She'd be like, no, that is a hot woman.
Well, what I think is funny about it, even though we're saying like the Tron games were not that great in our opinion, the movie Tron was a commercial failure, but apparently the Tron games were like a hit and made all kinds of money and everything. So it's
probably why
like,
they-
this got to be the one time where the game was a bigger hit than the movie.
Oh, true. Especially of modern day video games. Yeah, a lot of times the movie video games are flops.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
I think they could actually do something good with Tron if they actually went with like the Arkham type style of stuff and everything like that. That
I think there's
just
another
the storytelling there. If
Yeah,
they made
no.
a Tron game and actually had the story make sense and not just have button mash where you're doing the same move over and over and over and like add some extra stuff to
I
it.
can
Like
see
you
it
could
being
really
an
make a
MMO.
Tron game that would be amazing.
They had a Tron Legacy 360 game that I think was like an extension, like it wasn't repeating the movie.
Between
I
the
think.
prequels,
It was
I didn't play it.
fill in.
I played it a little bit and I checked into it a little bit again for this podcast. And I was like, I remember playing this and I remember thinking it was really boring because it just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then when I went and watched a quick little review, I'm like, yep, that's what I remember. I didn't make it very far through the game because it was so repeatable. You go into a room, these bad guys, and you jump around doing the same move over and over to kill them. You go into the next room, and those bad guys come out and jump around. And like, it got very repetitive, and I was just like, so yeah, I never finished it, but yeah, it was not very good.
It was
it was a prequel. It was being made at the exact same time as the movie.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking that Tron would work out actually really well as an MMO. Like you get to be a program in the grid, and like you can have these factions and stuff like that. You can
Go like World of Warcraft style, but with Tron.
yeah, exactly.
Well, then I wanted to be able to go outside so you can go play as your user in real life and do real life tasks. You know, like Stardew Valley.
You have to go to work. You have to go balance your checkbook.
And then you get to jack into the grid, and then you can go do all these fun things
Not
with
that.
light cycles, and then like there's like dramatic stuff.
Not that,
happens.
but what if your program can go into the real world like Tron Ares?
Tron
Well,
Sims.
yeah.
But if you're already, well, I guess if you're just the program, yeah, I get that. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, you just Tron Sims. Yeah.
So to transition into Legacy, I have a question about this. What do you think is better or worse is in the sense of CGI, young Clue and young Jeff
Oh,
Bridges
come on.
versus
The answer is obvious.
animation
Actually-
of all the movies?
No, I actually have a question that I literally wrote down for
Yeah.
this. Okay, so the MCP at the end that's obviously hand animated.
Yeah,
It kind of
yeah.
looks like it just looks like big
It's a
red
Looney
thing.
Tunes cartoon.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys think the lip syncing on that is better than Clue 2 in Tron Legacy? That's an honest question for all three of you.
to see that, but it was not good in Tron Legacy.
It was definitely better on the animated MCP, the Master
I think you
Control
answered the
program.
question.
I was also to see if you guys had an answer for that. I know what
Dude,
my
even
answer
the
is.
voice, you can tell Jeff Bridges
He's
is
way older.
old.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's like, this is our destiny. And you're like, oh, man. It sounds awesome. It sounds awesome, but it just sounds like Jeff Bridges.
Old Jeff
just,
Bridges, yeah.
Just ate a giant amount of food, and he's kind of like, I'm kind of digesting stuff. There's
Part of the problem that they had with 2010 was like when this was done in 2010, they didn't quite have like the bone structure and the muscle stuff
Yeah.
that they have now.
Yeah,
like
they
these
did do like
days,
all little dots
it's-
on his face.
They
He
did
just
a
had
lot
bunch
of
cameras pointing at him.
stretching of I can't remember what it's called,
the
like
texture.
it's like it's a specific type of texturing. But basically, they had to like stretch stuff, so that's why his face looks like it stretches as opposed to having muscle structure underneath.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
it did. So that's why, like, when they leaned into that a little too much, especially when he smiled and
Yeah.
his face deformed, I'm just like, oh, that does not look good. You guys probably should have not leaned as much into that.
Look, you know what? I will give it credit though, because the first movie leaned into technology. Second movie had
That
to
was
do
probably
the
their
same
argument.
thing.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that's exactly. The first one was groundbreaking technology, and this one, like, it was one of the first ones that were trying to do this stuff, so it was groundbreaking too. What they honestly should have done with it is just like very careful where they used it. When he was talking to his son, and before he went, when it was in 1989, whatever, cool,
Mostly
fine.
from the back.
first time they show him and reveal the helmet, cool, fine. Put his fucking helmet back on after that.
Yeah, and I
think-
thought that's what they were going to do, because in the beginning of the movie, when they're doing that flashback, they were very careful not to show his face for like a whole 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. And then they do show it. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't look all that great. And then they just keep going with that for the
And
rest
then
of
he
the
talks,
Keep
and
his
you're
helmet
like,
on
oh,
and do
no.
the projection thing from that teaser that you know, but no one else does. Then it's okay that it doesn't look right because it's a projection on the helmet.
Yeah, no, I wish they would have went with something like that because it would have definitely been
Other than
better.
that, stylistically, I thought they did an amazing job of like translating everything into Legacy.
That or just let programs age.
I was
Stylistically, the neon theme, I think Even when the first time you see Clue and he's like sitting there and he's rotating those things as the game is going on.
When he's like, "Look at me, ladies, my legs are open." Kind of thing,
And playing with balls.
I didn't think about going that far with it.
But yes, but I thought it was like, he looks awesome. He's wearing a really cool jacket and he's got he's orange color, which is like, the first Clue in the movie was also orange. So his color stripes being orange.
A little more
was, like,
yellow, but yeah.
Yeah. It was better.
I thought it was orange.
It looked, even for me, even though I watched this before, I had a wow moment was when the kid, Sam Flynn, runs out after he's been absorbed into the game, and then he runs out, and then the screen goes from bars into IMAX, like, 4:3, and the whole TV filled up, and then like the big recognizer ship comes down, and I was like, oh damn, that looks good.
They're like, this is real.
They looked
hold
real good in this movie. I love how when they landed, the little thing actually came all the way down.
Like a lift, like an elevator coming down.
Before we get too off of this topic, I have a question about the balls
Yes, they are shaved.
and how he was fondling them.
He's like, you see these balls?
David Bowie
How
and
about
Labyrinth
these
style?
balls?
So
Brought to you by Manscaped. Not a sponsor.
Oh god, that'd be a great time to be sponsored.
maybe one day, we can only hope. Okay, so it seemed like I'm pretty sure is like he was actually controlling the level.
Yeah,
With
he
the
was
balls.
controlling
All
the
right, I
gravity
was just making
side.
sure because
Yes.
it wasn't like super obvious, but it seemed like
Yes.
Okay, all right. There was a purpose to the balls, the ball fondling.
Yes, you control the level and which way something points when you're
going
Oh,
into it.
God, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it turned the arrow the other way, so control which way it pointed. I don't know what you guys were thinking.
I didn't put much thought into it. I'm just like, oh, it's obviously controlling stuff, and I moved on.
Yeah, we don't pay as much attention when somebody else is having balls fondled.
I guess not.
I don't know. So, like, I do agree that the scenery and everything with being in the program was really cool, but there seemed to be like a big disconnect between the first one and the second one, and just like the first one, it really
over
seemed
40 years of technology.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, like, thematically, it seemed like you were in a computer. Whereas in the second one, it's like, I'm in a simulated world instead. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'd say tomato on that because it's a simulated world.
There is
and
a
computer.
narrative reason for why it looks different. One,
Yeah,
it absolutely looks different, and two,
because it's a different place.
and it also the tone is different. The original, it seems like it's a live world where programs are walking around. It's like a civilization. Where two, it's very locked down. The narrative reason for that is because Clue 2 took over from Flynn,
Building the perfect world,
trying to gold plate everything, and trying to build the perfect world, and ended up basically creating this not so
Dystopia.
perfect world. Yeah, dystopia.
The difference also was Clue 2, it would reprogram, not destroy, mostly, because he explains later that he couldn't create anything new.
Yeah.
He could only reprogram. It didn't have the creativity of Jeff Bridges. just the uncanny valley likeness. That's it.
that beard adds a lot of creativity.
So I guess
I wonder if that plays into his cheeks too. Do you think he actually shaved his beard for filming the Clue 2 part so they could work his face, or he still had the beard?
Nah,
Because
man.
then you got to work around the beard.
Yeah,
Jeff
I kinda
Bridges ain't going to
wonder-
do that.
I kind of wonder, does like Clue 2 just have an endless 5 o'clock shadow, or does he actually grow hair?
I don't think he ever goes there.
I have no that actually touches on what I was about to talk about. It's like the story, the world building,
Of beard
the
growing?
amount of things. No, like there's so many things in Tron Legacy that they touch on but never go anywhere with. There is so much world build. Everything from like Dillinger's son. Like had 2 minutes. Like it seemed like he was gonna be more of a thing. Absolutely
Cillian
nothing.
Murphy, yeah.
The ISOs, like even though they kind of plays in with core and stuff like that, Where'd they come from? Like why were they
that
so
I think
great?
was more of a we're setting up this world to do a sequel,
were
and never happened.
so busy setting up so many different things like that with their world building that it kind of made the main storyline itself pretty weak.
Well, you know,
it was
that is
very
a
unfocused.
Big problem with a lot of movies of the past like 15, 20 years is like you're doing this movie for the next movie. It's like, how about you just do this movie?
But this was back
and
in
then if it's good
2010.
enough,
Like, this is
find what the
pre-MCU.
story will be for the sequel. Don't sit there and try to seed things in here for a sequel because that's not guaranteed. We've seen so many movies do that and they don't get the sequel. And so
then the first movie or the only movie just is worse because of that.
yeah.
I found the first movie actually had more variety in the grid. Like there were tanks that weren't here.
Even the fights.
No, the
game.
tanks the tanks were in Legacy. They're just in the background. They're not actually a main plot point. But there's 2 or 3 different scenes where if you look past what's going on, you see like tanks driving down the road.
Yeah.
How many different games were in the first
exactly.
one? Like all the different stuff that people did, all of it was like the only thing you ever saw was the disc thing, and that was just like people did spinny stuff and like like even this
And
like the
parkour. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges being as a user being able to change the world was not
By touching it?
Yeah, by touching things. So he's the only one who does it. I thought he was going to teach Sam like, hey, you can actually affect this world as a user because you have special powers.
Well, see, I took
Didn't
it differently. I took it as like he could do that because he built the world, so it's his code, and he's able to do that.
got the back door.
Since his son didn't actually build that code, he didn't have access into it to change
He
it.
explained that though when he was looking at the code. He's like going because he's like, "Did you write all this?" He's like, "I wrote some of it, and the rest of it just sort of went like that." That was another thing. They never explained why he basically was kind of like a Jedi. Like he walked into the bar that one time and affected the place.
So all the lights went out.
and then near the end, like when he sucks, Clue into
reabsorbs.
he reintegrates,
Reintegrate.
and they never say why he wouldn't survive. What Cora said, like, oh, he wouldn't survive it. Why wouldn't he survive it? Like, there's all these rules that are not set up properly, and like normally I'm like, if there's only a couple of things, I'm like, cool, like let me wonder about a few things, but the whole movie's filled with stuff.
Well,
like
so
that.
that's
filled with it.
that's the funny thing is like we were just talking about the first movie and how cool it was that they didn't explain everything, and then we go to the second one where they have like just a smorgasbord of things that they don't explain.
That's what I just touched
Well,
on.
but there's
Like, I'm
difference,
cool with
though.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
A couple of very
I have
strategic
one for
things.
why the reintegration. It's a big merge conflict that they.
You're not wrong. That is absolutely right.
No, but like with the first movie though, it's like, yeah, they don't explain everything with exposition, but if you follow along and pay attention, you can kind of pick everything up. This one, they're literally
wouldn't say
showing
everything.
you a thing
Yeah.
and then never answering what that thing is about. Tron didn't necessarily show you a thing and then walk away from it. They're just kind of like, here's the world, and we're going on an adventure.
Yeah, the first Tron, I'll give you that. The first Tron did a better job of making sure that these mysteries kept coming up. Even if they never explained them, it felt like, okay, it's still a normal part of the world. Whereas the second one, it's like, here's this mystery. Okay, bye. Let's move on.
Because it was Jeff Bridges, I think, running into it, and it could just be that, oh, he doesn't know this world, and so he's encountering things.
Yep.
And also, he's the creator user, so his is different. Instead, here, it's Sam Flynn does nothing. Cora comes, saves, and she has things. Jeff Bridges has some cool ways.
Sam
to do
opens the door.
things. Sam opens the door, gets in, and
Beyond
gets
that,
out,
there's
but-
no reason for him to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flynn, I think I wrote down in my notes, the only thing Flynn really does is walk around. Like, he doesn't really have any agency.
Oh, in
doesn't
the
really
first movie?
and then, no, you said Sam. We were talking about Legacy.
Well, sometimes the way you
yeah,
win is by
like
doing
Sam Flynn.
nothing.
Okay. And
You didn't hear me.
no, I didn't. I'm sorry.
No, I said sometimes the way to win is by doing nothing.
Yeah, because he
Oh,
literally.
I love how they quote that in the movie.
Actually,
Yeah.
there is. Okay,
I'm sure
so
I messed the quote up, but that's vaguely
the only
it.
way to win is
there
by
are
not playing. Yeah.
There are so many callbacks from the first movie in the second
Oh,
movie.
yes, I wrote a bunch of these down.
All in the wrist.
But that, wait,
That is a big door. Hold on.
I was just gonna say the quote we just
literally talking.
I know, but the quote we just quoted is not from the first movie. It's
didn't
from
say
War
that.
Games.
We didn't say it was from the first movie.
Yeah, we wouldn't
Okay,
talk
okay,
about
but
that.
go ahead. Call back.
It's all on the wrist. So yeah, he did that when Core was flying, and then in Tron, it was about playing the arcade game and how he got the
Yeah,
high score.
yeah.
Keep going.
It's like that is a big door.
Yep.
I
the
actually
door,
didn't
yes.
remember that until I watched the Tron movie again, and that door just kept getting bigger and
Yeah.
bigger. And
That
I
was
thought
a
that-
side
the
gag.
director
Yeah.
in Tron saw that like on some tour he went on. He's like, "This is cool. I want," and they wrote that scene specifically to have that door.
And here's a weird one. Flynn taking off his shirt in front of Bradley, and then
And
his
then later on
son
in
doing
Death.
it again in Legacy. When they got back, like they just went and took off their shirt. Like that had to have been a callback.
Yeah.
So like
I've got two more. Do you have any more?
Yeah, keep going. No, you go.
No, did you not have any more?
No, I got a couple more, but you
Okay, well, there's one. The one that was obvious, the white light cycle. Obviously, that's from the original
Yes,
Grid
yeah.
games. But the one that like you might not notice as much is you have Flynn when they're in his apartment. He has his little metallic polyhedrons, and then later on, Clue sits there and picks one up. And he's like, "Huh," and puts it down, and goes away.
What's the bit?
Call back to Bit from Tron.
Oh, I didn't
Oh, it
catch
did
it.
look
I did.
like a bit.
I loved the
I
bit character. I thought that was really
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
no.
like, oh, that should have been in Legacy. I thought that was actually
I
comedic.
wish-
But then after that scene, you never see Bit again. So
Yeah. That's actually
One
that-
more mouth to feed.
yeah.
the bit character again like goes on. The first movie just had a lighter tone,
didn't
where
know
this
that. That's
the
good
second
call.
movie
Yeah.
definitely kind of felt like it knew it was cool, and it was cool the whole time. It
It was
definitely
very
did.
try
and
hard.
it-
Let's
yeah, it didn't lean-
just
it didn't lean
Jeff Bridges'
into-
energy just oozing out and like I'm
he,
cool.
Well,
man.
he definitely was playing the dude, like you said earlier. And
Yeah.
I thought it too. It was like he sounds like he's just kind of the dude.
it's
in Tron.
biodigital jazz,
Yes,
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the knocking on the sky and listening
This
to the I
sounds-
forgot. Yeah.
When he goes to meditate, basically.
And he's got a little bit of that in the first movie, so it's not completely out of nowhere. But everybody knows the dude.
Amped up. Yeah.
Everybody knows the dude character, so
The dude
that's
abides.
The dude abides. So you're gonna think that. But yeah, the second Legacy's tone is definitely way more serious, try hard. It knows it's cool, and then it takes its soundtrack and then amps it up. And
11.
I love the soundtrack,
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the same time, it is used so much in the movie to lead you emotionally that it
that's what
kind of
music in movies does
Yeah,
nowadays.
but it like does it a little too much. I thought. In
I don't
Legacy.
care because it's that good.
Oh,
It is-
come on, you
I'm
can't
actually
say-
kind of with you on that, but I am pointing it out as like
Okay.
that wasn't nearly as cool.
Every
as what
great
this
movie
is.
score ever does that.
Yeah, but it was almost too much in this case. I thought not because the score was bad, but just because of the way they use it. They could have like used some stuff a little bit more sparingly in some places. It was trying to lead you emotionally a little bit more than normal, and I thought that was because the story was pretty weak. And so I'm like, they're trying to make these characters look like they just had this moment. I was like, you guys haven't even talked to each other. You haven't set any of this up, and yeah. So anyway, soundtrack awesome. So
Speaking of music, my favorite scene in the second movie, the freaking club scene.
Yeah.
And
End of line.
End of
Daft Punk
Yeah.
are the DJs.
Yeah.
And then everybody, like, they get into the fight. Everyone starts dying.
Dum, dum,
They just look at each other like,
Yeah.
let's put on a different song. They just
that
change-
was one of my favorite parts. That was so good. It also made me so sad that Daft Punk is no longer with us.
Well,
Don't
supposedly,
talk like they're dead.
That's
up.
the joke. They broke.
I read that like apparently they had still tried to get them to come back. And they're just like, no, we're done.
Oh, that
But no,
sucks.
End of Line was the last one I had as a callback. The End of Line.
The club name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's the arcade.
What did you guys
The
think?
actual arcade.
Well,
was a
yeah, to me,
callback.
like doesn't necessarily feel as much of a callback because it's just a building that's in both of them.
It's a scene.
It's not necessarily a callback to because each of the things we're referencing is like unrelated to the first movie and it just calls back to it. Whereas that one's like, well, this was his business in the first one, this is business in the second one. I'm like,
Yeah, true.
if that's a NCOM is a callback, if that's the case.
So we were talking about like the hidden stuff in the first movie, Pac-Man, and then the hidden Mickey face. Was there any like hidden stuff in the second movie? Did y'all?
If there was, I didn't catch
Yeah,
it, but I've heard
catch
people
it.
say
There
that
might be.
the light the camera he knocks out with like his little laser beam when he's going to NCOM tower.
remember that.
The camera looking down with the little sensors up here kind of looked like Mickey Mouse, but meh.
It had a couple of round things on it, but
Yeah.
it was I wouldn't call it that.
But I mean,
But-
if there was other Easter eggs, I don't know about them.
Yeah.
Quick answer only. Yuri or Korra?
Yuri. For sure.
Man, man,
It's easy for me.
I have to lean towards Korra, but they're both right there. But they're both right there.
I think Yuri
They're-
for me,
they're-
actually.
both very much attractive, but as my wife can attest, who she doesn't watch these anyway, I'm a brunettes guy, so got to go with Korra.
So we're 50-50 there.
All right. Yeah, I've never been that much of a Olivia Wilde fan.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
But
Her
I mean,
character-
I don't watch the movie for the ladies, though. So
Her character was.
I will say, man, Jeff Bridges was looking good in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He did look good.
Hell, I think he looks super cool.
again, it was 40 years ago.
Hell, I think he looked pretty good, like really cool looking in Legacy, like the way they had it, like his outfit and everything like that, and his hair and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
you
the
like-
white
like-
stuff with the white disc and everything.
Yeah,
like, it
it
made
all,
it stand out more.
he looked pretty good. I mean, everybody in that movie looked good. Even what's his face that played Zeus or
Dude, I
Castor
love
Zeus.
him.
I thought he was great. He was the one source of that movie having.
Why do I always
fun.
forget his name?
And yeah, I'm trying to. He's a
that's-
super good actor. He's
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
Sheen.
Oh yeah,
Michael Sheen.
He's
Yeah.
literally
right on the screen.
And it's funny because he's not the most attractive dude, but he was actually
Oh,
married
he's
to
amazing.
what's her face?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
in the Underworld movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh shit. But
Yeah, I think they have
anyway,
a kid together, too.
I think so. But yeah, anyway, like everybody.
Beckinsale.
Kate
Kate
Beckinsale. Yeah.
Not anymore, I'm assuming.
No, they're not married anymore.
Yeah. He's in the Good Omens.
Yeah.
As Aziraphale. I don't know if you've seen.
I've never
that one.
finished a single episode of that, but I know he's in it.
Yeah.
I tried. It just wasn't for me.
What did y'all think about the plot twist with him being a bad guy?
I didn't like it. I didn't think it was
Kind
set
of
up.
was very too forwardly. You knew, like, oh, this dude sucks.
And then the Jam
Yeah.
character that was with him that literally has a job that just comes out and takes clothing off and then goes back. But then she also hangs out and has a job in a bar with Zeus also.
or she's
So
just
that-
I don't know if she has a job there.
So
or
that,
she's
that was
just hanging
another,
out after
that,
work.
that was another thing they didn't really set up. And then his betrayal, because he does say something to Clue, like basically like, hey, he was going to give him a city. So there's a reason for the betrayal. I didn't think it was set up very well, but at least there was
He's
some
an
reason.
ISO, right?
No.
No,
he's not. an
Well, he
ISO.
does have a weird symbol on his head,
I thought-
but I don't think he's
helped.
an ISO.
No. He helped try to protect the ISOs during the purge.
Okay.
And he lost. And I think that, like, to
That's
me,
how we
like,
knew
it
Korra.
makes sense because, like, that's the last time Korra would have seen him is right around that
Oh, yeah,
time.
yeah.
And then also, like, him losing out trying to protect these people during the purge. And then there's obviously all the rhetoric of, the users and what they've done to us and how he believed in Flynn and he lost this battle against Clue for the ISOs. It's like, I can get how he turned coach.
You just touched on something. We'll come back to believe like losing. I guess we'll come back to that whole. So anyway, with Zeus, also him like just kind of exploding. What'd you guys think of that? Like Clue.
Oh
killing
yeah, kill them.
just out of nowhere. Just
How
like,
do you know he
boom, boom.
exploded? It was off camera.
It was off camera. Like him
Oh,
and Jam might have
man.
they might have
You
pressed the
think they
button.
would've
and-
just sat
and
there going
fell.
like,
no.
well,
Michael
I'm gonna pour me a drink. No, they would have jumped out a fucking window.
And I was actually that's actually my hope is, but I just like going. I was like, come on, you guys could have literally just left it and just let him be like, oh man, maybe we're dicks because we betrayed him. Like that was. But speaking of betrayals, where was Clue's motivation to betray Flynn in the first place? Do you guys know?
Sam Flynn or the Flynn?
The Flynn, it's Kevin Flynn.
Yeah.
Clue, because Clue 2 was created by Kevin Flynn to help with Tron to help
Yeah.
take the grid and make it perfect. And then
'cause
somewhere,
he thought-
you're trying to figure out why
He was
Clue-
jealous.
Yeah.
He was jealous because
Yeah.
of the ISOs.
And
No,
also, he thought
I
ISOs
disagree.
were
He
not
doesn't-
normal. He thought they were imperfect.
Yeah,
They were
because
imperfect, yeah.
He had the very straightforward programmatic view of what was a perfect system, and something that was unnatural that didn't follow rules and everything like that was not part of a perfect
I did
system.
not catch that.
And now that Flynn is like paying so much attention to them, he's like, that's why he locked up. He's like, am I still supposed to create the perfect system? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna fuck you up now.
Okay, that makes sense because in
When
the first
he-
movie, he does say he programmed the original Clue 1 as dogmatic, and you're gonna go and do like what do you do? Like I can't remember the exact wording, but basically be like, what do you do? Is like I go after him. Like, that was his thing. So Clue 2, I guess, if he was programmed the same way, but he doesn't ever explicitly say that. So that's where I was confused.
When he tries to reintegrate, they have the confrontation, and he says, you didn't know what perfect was because when he made a copy of him, he didn't know what perfect was.
Yeah, I
And
actually
so
really liked that scene.
The part of being a
that was
user, human, is that we grow and adapt and we're like, oh, change our belief system completely.
Yeah.
Clue could not do that, so he wasn't built to do that. So he says I'm sorry, which reminded me of the Star Wars scene where
With Darth Vader?
not Darth Vader, the second one,
Kylo Ren
Kylo Ren and
and
stabbing his dad. It was also kind of like, it's
Stabbing
my
his dad.
fault.
Can't say Han Solo.
And then he goes, bam. So
That's exactly what he did. He went, bam.
Oh, jeez.
he even made the sound effect.
Exactly.
Bam.
But no,
little pop-ups as the actual cartoon thing.
speaking of the scene with the whole reintegration thing, I love the fact that so the original Tron's promotional poster, Tron like this, and Yuri leaning up against him and everything like that, which never happens in the movie.
No, yeah.
But they did recreate that scene in
little
Legacy
bit.
when he was reintegrating.
Wait, is that a
Clue.
callback?
And I don't know.
To the
but he's holding up that, and right when he gets close, he's like, ah! Cora leans into him and like that, boom, poster moment.
Man, that pose is so it's the He-Man pose of
It's the He-Man poster.
I have
Yeah.
the power.
Yeah.
That's another good movie that gets a bad rap. Well, it's a bad movie, but it's a good movie because
I
it's
was
a
gonna
bad
say,
movie.
it's like even as a kid, I thought that was a bad movie.
But it's one of those movies. It's so bad that it's good. That's how I
okay,
view it.
that's for another episode.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, we need to start wrapping it up, guys. So
Yeah.
let's how are we gonna vote?
Let's talk cool or nostalgia individual movies.
And then just talk about Tron.
Because
in
even
general.
Legacy itself is so old, and then we can say, what's
I
your pitch
thought a
for
couple of
Ares?
facts that I wanted to talk about, and you said you wanted to come back to something. So let's finish those
yeah,
up,
yeah,
and then we'll
bring
wrap
it up. Bring it up.
So I wanted to call up the crowd chanting during the games. Did you know that that's actually real fans? What they did is at I think it was the 2010 Comic-Con. Yeah, when they did a film panel talking about this movie that was going to be coming out, all the people that were in the hall, I don't know what hall it was in, but all the people that were there, they actually got them and they put stuff on a screen and had them chant stuff, and people from Skywalker Sound recorded them. And then did all the edits. So then when they're in the games, people are like, all stuff. It's actually people at Comic-Con.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, man. And then the only other thing I had was that this was the most expensive film ever made by a first-time director.
Oh, still?
At the time. I don't know if it still is, but at the time, yeah.
Legacy?
Tron Legacy, yeah. 'Cause that was his first film. That was,
170 mil?
Yeah.
Was it? Damn. Well, he's proven right.
oh, yeah. I mean,
he's-
Top Gun
he's
Maverick,
Gun Dude.
F1. I haven't seen F1, but it looks amazing. Top Gun Maverick is
Made
awesome.
a lot of
yeah.
money too. People like it.
Oblivion, I don't think it was as big of a hit, but I actually like it.
I
thought
like
it was a good
Oblivion.
movie.
I thought Oblivion was good. It had its problems with it was like a pacing issue, but
Yeah.
but everything else was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you haven't seen it, right?
Nope, haven't seen it. But hey, let's get into voting.
Yeah, yep,
Let's
okay.
get into
Well,
voting.
you
Let's
said
do
you had
this.
one thing you wanted to
No,
come
I
back
already
to.
talked about it.
did you?
I didn't like the whole Clue betraying Flynn because it seemed to me out of left field. But you guys kind of
Makes more
explained it a
sense when
little
explained to
bit.
you,
But
okay.
it was yet another piece they just kind of threw out real fast. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't catch it.
I've seen Tron Legacy a lot, so maybe that's why.
And
I
I just watched it again. I still didn't catch it. So, and I don't think I ever caught it. I did like it more this time around than the last time I watched it, but because I knew what they were going for with the world building and stuff like that. I was like, that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could have actually talked more about that. That's when I said earlier. I was like, I almost wish it was a three and a half hour movie, or it actually turned into a TV series because there's so many.
There is
good
a Tron TV
ideas.
series that's very good that you could check out.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's called Tron Uprising. It was a cartoon that was meant to be a prequel that takes place right as Clue is trying to take over the world and like that.
Okay.
And, like, you know, people are trying to fight against him. And, it only went for one season. I thought it was a great show, and then they
canceled it.
They didn't renew it.
Well, what, was it a streaming thing?
It was on that Disney like XD channel or whatever the hell it is. It's on Disney Plus now. You can watch it.
Okay.
And I plan to go back and watch it, but I thought it was
I give it a shot. I like the movies.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good
All
show.
right, Jeffrey, lead us into voting.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably pretty easy to tell where I'm already going to go because I've said I've seen Tron Legacy a bunch of times. I liked Tron before Tron Legacy even came out. I respect the visuals now as I'm older more than I did when I was younger, but I still liked the idea of it, which is weird because I'm not a huge computer guy. When people are starting to get computer conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, I had a jiggity jom jig RAM 27.3 ziggity big, and I'm just like, like, I don't even know what you guys start going into your like color graphics cars and all this crap. I don't know what the hell you're fucking talking about, but I'm just like, the idea of it was still from just like the story perspective of it. Cause I mean, that's where I usually latch onto, and that's where I fall apart with a lot of movies too, is like, I'm like, here's where you could have fixed the story. This was a problem. You should have done this kind of stuff. But I don't know the right people in Hollywood, meaning I know nobody in Hollywood, so I can't get a job making movies. But I mean, that's the stuff I latch onto, and I just think the idea of Tron is really fucking cool, which is why I'm very excited for Tron Ares and would love to see a great Tron video game actually kind of, you know, built and everything that we can go and release sometime soon in my lifetime so I can play a Tron game. But good. No, it's absolutely cool. Like, yes, it has its ups and downs from
We're talking
visual.
Tron.
Yeah, Tron.
Tron has the idea.
Tron.
Yeah, Tron the idea. So like when you go to the movies, it has some visuals, there's up and down, there's some story elements that could be better, but I still love the idea of Tron, and I still very much enjoy all the things that have come out of it.
Real quick take
cool.
on each movie. I think you already said it, but just
well, first Tron, the visuals are very much of its time. It's much more kind of adventure / a little bit of comedy than it is
That Danny Elfman type soundtrack.
Well, it's not Danny Elfman though. Like
I know it's not
they
Danny
had the
Elfman,
London
but it's Danny Elfman.
Philharmonic. They had some kind of synthesizer and a digital synthesizer.
There was some
that
lady who
blended
did the
all those
soundtrack for
together.
like The Shining and
Like
a few other
Linda
things. Like
something or something. I think
Yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, like they were trying to push, you know, the envelope of the soundtrack as with the visuals as well. It just didn't work as well as Daft Punk did. But no, absolutely. Like it's very much a product of its time, but it was trying to look to the future, and the story's still fun and enjoyable. Like I hadn't watched it in a long time, and when I watched it again, I was like, wow, that was actually a lot of fun. I should watch this, you know, more than every 5 to 6 years. And then I watched Tron Legacy again, and I was like, man, I still love this fucking movie. And then of course after the movie, I was jamming the soundtrack all day. So I still love them both. They're both cool.
both cool.
Yeah.
All right, Andy.
As a concept, super cool. I knew very little going in. I just saw the Tron Legacy movie again. I didn't know what was done in the first movie. What was the setup? Was it a video game first, movie first? Knew none of that. So Legacy for me is, I enjoyed it watching it, so it's still cool. Then I watched the first Tron movie, for which I totally thought is going to be this crappy, trashy thing. But I surprised, and I actually found the visuals endearing. Yes, the light cycles and the tanks look terrible. But to me, it was... But they didn't try to overdo it. It was so simplistic that it worked for me. So I thought, damn, this is actually cool. And the story was pretty tight. Like the story arc, they didn't try to he didn't have some weird detour where he explored some random things too much. They just drank some water, which was power, which was like weird. But that was the extent of the detour. And then Ram dies, right? So
seductively dies.
Seductively dies. Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
When I go, that's the way I'm going.
But they were very tight in the script. So for me, even the original Tron,
I just only had the I just died in your arms tonight.
Oh man.
Sorry, Andy. Go ahead, man. Follow it
We
up.
just absolutely derailed.
I don't know
Andy's
how do we
thought
come
here.
back from that. And yeah, I voted both of them as cool because I thought I'm gonna 100% say nostalgia as soon as I saw the initial scenes of original Tron. I was like, oh, this is gonna be nostalgia crap. And then I was like, I loved it. I love the effort, the extent to which they went to. I love that it's unique and no one ever made anything like that again. The way it was done, definitely looks super unique. And Jeff Bridges, as audited as he is, probably makes it work better in the first movie than in the second one. He's like got some Indiana Jones vibes. He's like, I'm a man out of this place vibe, and like, so even exposition is for him. It's like, hey, tell me what are we doing, kind of thing. So overall, was fun for me. So overall, Tron concept, I love it. Super cool. I hope Jared Leto doesn't ruin it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes he nails it. You never.
The only thing I recall seeing him in that I actually enjoyed was Dallas Buyers Club, and that's because he's such a small part of it. Well, I mean, I like the movie because I like the
And
movie.
who knows?
But
Maybe he'll be a small part of the third movie too.
even though his character's in the name of the movie, yeah.
So he's clearly both the bad guy and the good guy in the movie. There's a clone that's good. There'll be a clone that'll be bad. I'm assuming.
Oh, what?
So I'm assuming they're gonna make copies and they're gonna be like, yeah, that one died. Let's make another one, and then that one didn't die. So we'll see. So I'm excited for the new movie. I'm excited for Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
If anybody could follow up Daft Punk,
Yeah.
they are a
them.
solid choice to follow up.
Aw. He's supposed to
gonna
be
be fun.
Skeletor in Masters of the Universe, too.
Jared Leto?
Yeah.
Well, being under a ton of makeup, maybe that'll be better.
Yeah, maybe it won't look like him.
So no, it's all of it is cool for me. For me, it is surprising for myself because I totally thought I'm gonna say the new movie is cool because of Daft Punk is one of my favorite bands ever. I think that's the only band I have a poster of and things.
Oh,
So I love them, and so that movie for me was god tier for just the music. And I loved the first Tron as well.
Cool. All right, Monaghan.
all right. For me, Tron as a concept, the little background on me is I've absolutely loved like alternate worlds, virtual reality, stuff like that since I was a kid. Like even going back to the days of the first VR stuff, like I think it was called like Pterodactyl Nightmare or something like that. And that thing was like at our local arcade. Well, I say local, it's like 30 some minutes away from me. And I wanted to play it so bad. And then it wasn't actually there when I went. The next time I was able to go, it wasn't there.
Did you
So-
like Adventures of Johnny Quest?
I didn't really ever watch it. I don't
No?
think.
Oh,
No. I don't. I know you. I know it. I just never
It was
watched
one of the
it.
most banging opening for any cartoon.
But anyway, yeah, the concept of just like alternate worlds or especially computer generated worlds, stuff like that, I'm down with. So Tron, I always thought would have been really cool, but as a kid, I didn't really like it that much because to me, it was very boring. I didn't understand what was going on. That was the first time I saw Tron. And then, like I said, again, I watched it before Legacy, and I don't know if I was just in the wrong mood or something, but I also thought it was boring. I didn't really like it that much and never tried to watch it again until now. So the concept I love, but Tron 1, I absolutely thought going into today that I was going to be nostalgia entirely. But then I watched the movie and I watched Legacy last night, and then I watched the original Tron, and I saw all like the callbacks that were already in Legacy and kind of in reverse. And like the story was tighter. I like that it was a little bit less serious. And so
Am I the
I
only one
really
that watched
ended
them
up
in order?
Is it? Yeah,
I watched it.
Okay.
So I ended up enjoying the heck out of Tron, and then I rewatched Legacy, and I actually liked it more because it was not one of my favorite movies. I liked it a lot, but it was more for its concept because I like the concept more. But after watching it again, I'm like, I get what you were going for. It didn't work here. It didn't work here. I can identify all the areas I didn't like, but I'm able to kind of look over that a little bit and be like, man, you had a good idea. Like in a lot of these areas, I wish they could have expanded on it, but they weren't. But it was solid there, and it was definitely better than I remember it being. So honestly, I think all three of those things are still cool today.
Yeah, see, and that's exactly why I thought of having this episode where we're talking about the actual concept of Tron, because Tron is so much more than just the 2 movies that have come out and eventually the third's come out, because it's just like it's gone well beyond that with games and other stories and tie-in stuff and TV shows and everything like that, which I was like, I love a lot of that stuff. I was like, let's judge based on just the concept of it. So that's kind of the reason I went there.
I think it's an.
So, Mike, come on and ruin our, everyone voting the same way here.
No, actually, I think it's a very underrated universe.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, the concept of Tron is more than just the movies. There's so much more around it, and there's so much like gold to be had in those mines that hasn't been mined yet. And I really hope that if it's not Ares, somehow Ares kicks off another bit of, Tron fever.
I don't mind that they've actually taken time between stuff, because I think they need to do that more.
I'm fine
more
with taking
stuff.
time between stuff,
Sorry, I don't mean to
but
wait for
15 to 20 years is a bit much.
You're right. Like 5 to 10 years, something like that, I think would be perfect.
They burned their hands.
Grant, I think it was, what was it? Was it 38? Can I math here?
28.
28 years between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then 15. I'm like, can we just
Over
keep it
15.
under double digits? Under double digits.
Either way, what I'm trying to say, there's ample room for spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
There's ample room for books. There's ample room for video games, especially.
You don't even have to have the Tron character in it,
Yeah.
because it can be other stuff in that world, which that cartoon show is about a different character.
And like I was saying before this episode, I was a total Tron noob. Like, I knew basically nothing about it, and I'd never seen the movies. To me, it was just this thing that people knew, and like went and saw the movies, and now I'm like, I'm gung-ho all Tron, man. Like, I think it is very much a cool concept, a cool universe. I hope it gets expanded. It's like if you mixed Star Wars and The Matrix together, you kind of get Tron.
How do I use this? Give you a hint. Not that. You can see he was like trying to do a lightsaber.
So
Which actually, Korra has one later. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my judgment on Tron as the idea. And then when it comes to the movies, it's crazy, but I think I like the first one more than the second one. Which was crazy. It really is, like, when I came into the first one, especially during the beginning and how it kind of starts off, it's really slow. It's a little bit janky. And it's basically all in the real world, right? And I'm like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? Like you, I was like, there's no way this is ending up being a cool movie. But like, if you pay attention, you don't sit there on your phone while you're watching the movie. If you pay attention and you really think about the story, it really is a great movie. So I think the first one, definitely cool. The second one was not as good as I thought it was going to be. It's interesting.
Storylines, yeah.
Yeah, neither of them are perfect movies. Granted, neither of them are perfect movies. However, I think I like the first one more. I think I had higher hopes for the second one, and my hopes were dashed just a little bit by just like the hippie Jeff Bridges thing did not work out for me. And
I didn't really bump up against that. And like I said, I still look at it as like he grew up in the 70s, he disappeared in the 80s.
He's been alone with that Korra glow.
I watched the two movies literally back to back, and there was just so much of like it was so disjointed. It was a different character.
He went way more hippie. There was signs of that in the first movie, but it was definitely way more the dude.
Yeah, and like the exposition and the world building that went a little bit too far in the second one. Like there's a lot of things that just kind of disappointed me about the second one. However, I think the visuals save it, minus the CGI Jeff Bridges. I think the soundtrack saves it, and I think the action sequences save it. So I think
this was a lot more action than the first one.
I still vote the second one cool. So there you go. We all think everything's cool.
It's rare, but it happens.
I agree with you. I actually think I like the first movie better.
Hey, there we go.
See, I think it depends on what you're talking about. Like,
I did not wake up today thinking that.
Yeah,
Yep.
story-wise, it's like
100%.
I'd probably say the first one is better story-wise. Visuals, like part 2 is obviously better, but it's like it's 40-something years.
There's a lot of charm to the first
20,
movie's
28
visuals.
years.
The first movie's visuals, except for the light cycles part. I get it. It was brand new tech. The rest of
That's what I'm
it,
saying. Like, you can't really compare
really-
the two. They're just so
yeah.
far apart.
but the rest of it has a lot of charm. Has a lot of like, I get what the theme and how much they committed to it was actually really cool.
Yeah, I would love to see like how nowadays in movies they have like the B-roll is the wrong word, behind the scenes type stuff where people are filming things and they show you like when they're acting, seeing him when he's like standing in front of whatever he had there to fly the what are those little
Rectifier.
Yeah.
when he's like
Recognizer.
recognizer,
Yeah,
recognizer.
yeah.
To be able to see him doing that with before they put all the extra, just like the
Yeah.
raw footage of him doing that, but in like color and just seeing what he was screwing with. That
I
was
would
probably
like
funny.
to talk to the person who came up with that design
Yeah.
in the first place because it was
I looked
wild.
very close because there was like one, maybe two times you can see the recognizer, the guy actually flying it in
the new
Legacy.
one? Yeah.
And I did not see that they had that little top thing anymore. It's just the side parts.
I was
Yeah.
wondering that too because you get like a couple second glimpse and it
Yeah, I looked very close. And I'm like, if they have it, it's a lot smaller in the sequel than it is in the.
maybe it's a 2.0.
Yeah.
I agree with the second part being, I think it's the balance of real world and the grid world. They should have, the second movie is like real, complete grid, and then tiny real. While the first one has a lot more of like, I need to reach out to my real user, Alan, and all that. So there's, I think, a little more of that. And maybe
Well,
if
there's
they
not
had,
that in the second one.
there's some
because they cut
adventure
him off.
running.
Yeah.
Crew cut him off.
I
so
didn't
there's
like.
no-
I didn't like
yeah.
that. I actually liked that there was kind of like a user like
Yeah.
to computer program sort of like that was there. I hope they bring that back in Ares somehow, like where there's a little bit
Well, I
more
mean,
connection.
they mix the worlds
They are
together.
coming
Yeah.
in, but like I hope
They
there's
flipped
actually
the
like
script,
one. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's probably
So-
most of the time in the real world and very little time in the digital world this time, I would think, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
We'll see.
All right.
So, I mean, that's it. Tron, we all agreed the concept of it is still cool. I'm very excited for Tron Ares. I'm hoping it lives up to what I'm seeing in my head, regardless of who may be playing this main character. But to that end, if you haven't seen these movies, definitely give them a watch. If you haven't seen Tron Uprising, the cartoon, it's also definitely worth a watch on Disney Plus. But until then, we got the mics, we've got
Yeah.
Andy, and we've got myself, and this was Tron. End of line.
Oh, I thought he was only going to say it.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to say it.
Yeah, we.
Oh my god. Andy just stealing the spotlight.
It's okay.
I'm in this shot anyway.
Yeah, he is, technically. So.
Yeah.
I thought we were all going to say it.
No, I
No,
thought Jeffrey was
we
only
decided
gonna
on Jeffrey to just
All
do it, but
All right, one.
it's no.
Well, no, no,
Andy's
quick,
right.
quick.
You guys are both in the shot.
If it's on, if it's on both
It's
of
fine.
us,
Yeah, it's
keep
fine.
talking. I think it's on both of us. 1, 2, 3.
End of line.